Hi friends, today we are going to solve this question from the DataLemur platform. This is categorized into hard section and asked by the Wayfair. So this is year on year growth rate question. So let me start first reading the question statement, then we will go to the solution. Okay, so question statement is assume you are given the table below containing information on user transactions for particular products. Write a query to obtain the year-on-year growth rate for the total spend of each product for each year. So basically, we have data given is the product ID by spend for each year, and now we have to calculate the year on year growth for every product. Okay, so let me see the data first. We have a transaction ID, product ID, then total spent on this transaction date. Okay, basically the last date of the year is given here, and the example output is we have year, product ID, then current year spend, previous year spend. So this is the first year for this product, so that's why the last year spend is null here, and year on year growth rate cannot be calculated. Let me see the next row. 2020 for the same product, and the current year spend 1000, but now we have the previous year spend also, that is 1500 from the last row. And here, as the spend has been decreased from 1500 to 1000, that's why the growth rate is in the negative, so minus 33.35. Third row we have again for the same product ID, year is 2021, we have current year spend, previous year spend, and then growth rate. Now the spend has been increased from 1000 to 1246, that's why the growth rate is positive here. Okay, so this is the input data, and from this we have to get the data into this format. Okay, I will try to explain the solution of this question step by step. Okay, I have copied the data here in the sheet. This is the input data. We have these 4 columns. Now what we noticed when we see the example output here, we need to calculate the growth every year. So basically we need to extract the year from the transaction date. So first step here is to extract the year from the transaction date, and we have selected the 3 columns: year, product ID, and the current year spend. Year is given, year we have extracted from the transaction date, second is the product ID, third is the year spend. I have renamed the spend for that particular year into current year spend. Now when we will have this data, we can calculate the previous year spend, and we can calculate the previous year spend by the lag function, which is a Windows function. Here we will in this example there is only one product ID is given, but it is possible that we can have multiple product IDs. So basically when we will write the SQL query for that, we will use the lag function and partition it by the product ID. Okay, and order by year. So we have calculated the previous year spend. We can calculate growth rate by using formula current year spend minus previous year spend. So this difference will be divided by the previous year spend so that we can get the growth rate. Now we need to convert this growth rate into the percentage. So we will multiply it by the 100. So this will be the formula, and that's how we can get the growth rate here. So this is the table. Select star from transactions. Okay, first we know that we need to extract year from the transaction date column. We need spend product ID here. We are also going to rename the spend column as current year spend. Okay, let me test only this first step first. Great, we have converted it. We have successfully implemented the first step. Now okay, now we need to, by using the lag function, we need to calculate the previous year spend also. So year column name will be same, then product ID, after that current year spend, but we need to calculate lag of current year spend over. I mentioned that we will use the partition by here because in the example only one product ID is given, but when we will when we see this data, you can see that there are multiple product IDs are given. So what we will do, we will use partition by clause here with the product ID column, then order by, we will order it by the year. Okay, so here this will be previous year spend. So now this is the step 2. Let me test by running the query. Okay, for the first row it will be null because there is not any previous row here. Select star from, and here we will calculate the YOY rate column. So it will be basically current year spend minus previous year spend. Okay, we will multiply by 100. Sorry, first we will divide it by previous year spend, then multiply it by 100 so that we can get the percentage. And one more point they mentioned here, that output the year in the ascending order, partition by the product ID, current year spend, previous year spend, and year growth rate, percentage rounded to the 2 decimal places. Okay, so we will round it up to 2 decimal places, and we will rename the column as year onlet. Also we will use the order by clause here. First order by, 1 minute, product ID, then year. Okay, let me run the code and check we got the expected output. So we got the expected output, I think. Let me submit the question. Yeah, it is accepted. So this is how first when you are trying to solve any question SQL, you can write the steps that what are required to solve this question, then starting implementing the steps. Okay, so great. And also I also want to suggest, whenever you solve the question, also check out the solution that are given so that you can get multiple approach how to solve a question. You will always learn something new when you will see the solution which are implemented by the others. Okay, thank you.